Hey guys, welcome back. I just wanted to come on to talk to you guys about my breastfeeding experience. My son just turned 1 August 27th of 2015. So I recently started weaning him, and I just wanted to tell you about my experience with breastfeeding and how I weaned him, because I know a lot of moms have those type of questions, and those are the type of questions that I was looking up online. I'm a very visual person, so I came to YouTube to find information on breastfeeding, different techniques, and how to wean. So I just wanted to make a video kind of summarizing all of that, where you could just click on the one video and see a list of everything. So I'm going to start with the initial experience with breastfeeding. If you see me looking over, I have like bullet points written down so I don't forget where I am or miss a part of it. Before having my son, I did not do much research on breastfeeding because my mom breastfed all four of us, and I just thought it was just a natural thing. You just have your baby and the baby latches and then everything's fine, which was not the case. A little bit after my son was born, he was born around 3 in the morning, they told me to try to feed him. So I thought I knew what I was doing. I was laying back and I just like latched him on and everything, and I thought I was doing it right. But later on in the morning, when the lactation consultant came in, she told me to get out of bed, sit in the chair, sit up straight, and I was just like, okay, what are you talking about? I thought I could just lay down and like do whatever. And then she had me have a pillow under him, and she told me like the different positions, like the football, reverse football, all this like weird stuff. And my son was not latching properly because he was, they called him a late term preemie. He was about, I think he was born at 37 and a half weeks, 38 weeks. He never got the reflex to latch on properly. So I would have to like, sorry, this video is probably TMI, but I'm guessing only women are watching this because it's about breastfeeding. But I had to like assist him with like latching on. Like he was able to drink and everything, but the latching on part was harder for him. And it took us probably about a month. No, not a month. It took us probably like 2 to 3 weeks to really like get comfortable with doing it without me having to like fumble around with him and get him to latch. It was very stressful for me. And another thing, he would not wake up. Like, the nurses have you feed him every so many hours. They like tell you to write on a board and everything just so they can monitor it. And he would not wake up when it was time for me to feed him. My husband would have to like strip his clothes off. They told us to strip his clothes off so he could get cool so he could wake up. Did not wake up. Got a cold washcloth, had to put it on his back to try to get him to wake up. He would not wake up. I would like have to like lift him up and like kiss his cheek, like just try to get him up. He would not wake up. I would put my nipple on his mouth. He would not get up. So it was just really frustrating because I was just stressed out. I thought he wasn't gonna eat, and I just felt like I didn't know what to do. I did not want to supplement with formula. Like I was adamant about that in the beginning, but I ended up having to supplement with formula because I was nervous he wasn't gonna get enough. And that's another thing I want to talk about. Your plan probably it might go as you plan, but it might not go as you plan. So it's like, don't stress out if you have to supplement with formula or if your birth plan doesn't go how you planned it to go, because life happens. I ended up getting epidural because I was in labor for way too long and I was just tired and I needed to take a nap. So I ended up getting epidural after 15 hours, and then when I woke up, he was like ready to come. So don't feel bad if you need to do those things. I ended up having to supplement with a little bit of the formula they have in the hospital, which is I think the Infamil for newborns. He wouldn't use like the whole, it was the ready to use formulas, so he didn't drink like the whole container. He would maybe have like an ounce or two like a day, because I was nervous he wasn't getting enough milk for me. Because when they had me pump in the hospital, they just have you pump just so you can get used to it. I was nervous because it was like maybe like a drop of milk. Like it wasn't enough milk to get in the bottle. Like it was just around the guard, the pump guard. If you've seen a breast pump, you know what I'm talking about. The little guard that you put on your breast, it was just like a drop there, and I was like, oh my god, I don't have any milk. But then I had to remember, like, your milk sometimes takes a while to come in. I think it can take up to like 3 or 4 days. So don't feel bad about that. And when I was asking the nurses about it, they just told me like their stomachs are like so small, it was like the size of a marble. So all he needed was like a few drops and he was fine. So that made me feel a lot better. Another thing you should probably look into before you have your baby is what type of insurance you have. And you can just call your insurance provider and they will tell you if they cover a breast pump. And I think most do, if not all. my insurance covered my breast pump, and that was really nice because a breast pump that isn't like the hand one can cost like a couple $100s. Another thing that I recommend getting for like the first few months of life, especially if you have a smaller baby, and a thing that came in handy was the boppy pillow. Actually, this might be the Mambo, I'm not sure, but the covers fit the same one, so if you get a Mambo or a boppy, it's fine. And it's just nice to have it, because you can see. And then you just stick it around you, and then it helps with placing the baby up on the boppy so they don't like fall down, or like, just so you can get comfortable with it. It just helps a lot with the placement of the baby. And then another thing I recommend if you are starting, I definitely recommend looking up mom groups. They have Facebook groups all over the country of moms that just meet up or just talk and get advice and everything like that. So those are really nice for support, to help with like anxiety and just being nervous, because we all go through the same things. So just having that support system was really nice to have. But when it comes to pumping, is a lot of moms want that oversupply, especially if they're planning on going back to work after a few weeks postpartum. So they get the pump so they can have that oversupply. If you want the oversupply, I would suggest starting pumping like within the first few weeks at postpartum. But if you do not, I do not suggest that. I believe I started pumping about 3 weeks postpartum, and I ended up getting a really bad oversupply. Like, I would get out the shower, he would start crying, my breast would start leaking. Or if he was drinking on one side, the other side would just start leaking. And it was really annoying because I didn't know what was going to happen. It just randomly happened. So I definitely suggest getting breast pads, because they definitely come in handy in the beginning. So my son was exclusively breastfed from, well, not exclusively breastfed, sorry. My son was breastfed almost exclusively from the time he was born up until about 4.5, 5 months, and that's when we introduced like baby foods, different solids, pureed solids. And I made most of his, but of course I bought some too just for convenience. And then around 6, 7 months, I believe, he started just having like regular like finger foods, like fruits and veggies and stuff like that. And around the time of his birthday, he got sick, and that's when I planned to start weaning him when he turned 1. And I wanted to start weaning him around the time he turned 1 because he started getting like all of his teeth, and he would try to bite down, and that was really uncomfortable, and I didn't want to keep going through that. So a week or 2 after his first birthday, I fed him that Monday, and then one time that Monday in the morning, and then he ended up not drinking all day. And then like that Tuesday or Wednesday, he drank again, and then he hasn't had milk since, which is really nice. And then I should probably say this part. I stopped giving him milk in the middle of the day. I gave him breast milk in the morning, and then like around the time we got home in the evening, like around 3, 4, and then I gave him milk before bed. So I just slowly cut out the feedings. That's what's really going to help slow down your supply, so you don't end up being engorged and uncomfortable like some women are. And I did not want that to happen, so I just cut out that feeding. And then the next feeding I cut out was the evening feeding, and then I got down to, okay, you're just drinking once when you wake up around 6 or 7, and then when you go to sleep around 6 or 7. Those are the only times he was breastfeeding, and that's what I was cutting out. Sorry. He was playing, he wasn't thinking about it, and occasionally he would like open my shirt and like look down. And then I think one time, like that next week, he like opened my shirt, and I just wanted to see if he was gonna latch. So he latched, and then he started laughing and was like, no. And then he like did the sign language for all done. So I was like, yep, all done, no more milk. But there was milk, because when he like detached from me, I like saw a little drop. So there was a little milk left, but I'm pretty sure now I'm all dried up. You can just try it and just see what your baby does. If you want to go longer, some moms do it for way longer. That's up to you. I just wanted to tell you about my experience. So if you have any questions about breastfeeding or pumping questions, feel free to leave them down below, or any mom questions in general, or on my social media pages. And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.